Let's go to Carla Sands right now with America First Policy Institute. Carla, what do you think about that? I mean, that would be along President Trump's timeline, and if it doesn't happen, maybe it happens next week, right?
Right. Perfect timing, right? Boy, do they know how to really roll out a great plan, and they're executing on their plan. And yes, it may get pushed a little bit, but it seems like Speaker Johnson and Senator Thune have really kept their teams in line, which isn't typical for Republicans. So I'm excited to see this move forward. But I do hope that the Congress will not pass the Green New Deal cronyism that the Senate put back in. House took it out, the Senate put it back in. So if you want to call your congressman and say, please take out the corruption, the cronyism, and a lot of that Green New Deal spending actually got put in Republican districts. But the Biden administration was very crafty. They thought, well, if we stuff it in the Republican districts and states, they're not going to be able to undo this Green New Deal scam. It's going to be more than $1 trillion at the end that's spent on cronyism. It doesn't make cheap and abundant energy the way so many other kinds of energy does. What it does is it just jams in inefficient energy, and often it benefits China.
And then in your town hall op-ed just recently, you said the quote was, end Biden's green energy scams once and for all. So that's something to your point there, even writing in the town hall online publication. So it's the word's getting out, you know?
Oh, yeah. So that ran yesterday, and we're really encouraging the Congress to hold the line. There are, I believe, other mechanisms to take it out down the road, but really it would be great if we can just strip it back out. It was out when it went to the Senate, and it shouldn't stay. Yeah, it's corruption. I mean, we cannot become that party. We have to do what's right by the American people. President Trump, he wants this bill to pass because he knows it's going to be a great tax cut for the American people, more money in their pockets. If it doesn't pass, it's the largest tax increase in the history of our country. So there's no question it has to pass.
Yeah, we don't want the Trump tax cuts from 2017 to end. We want to, and that's a 68% increase in taxes. So we know, I believe, I think everybody knows that this bill will pass. I mean, it's passed the Senate. It already passed the House to the Senate. Now it's going back to the House before it goes to the president's desk. So we know it's in the right direction. Can you talk to us about the importance of keeping everything pedal to the metal, though, for President Trump, for this cabinet, and for we the people, for this 3 years plus that is remaining in President Trump's second term?
Sure. First, I just want to also just highlight to everyone that's watching, this big, beautiful bill is going to secure our border, give the resources to the Border Patrol that they need. It's also going to save the family farms. It takes that penalty away, the inheritance tax, up to enough that most family farms are going to be just fine to stay in family hands. So that's a blessing. And that's also good for small business owners that are family-owned firms. But what we have to do is we have to, as advocates, and many of you watching, you care about our country, you care about our families, our strong security, our prosperity. Call your congressman and stay on them when they're starting to waver. They need to be loud and proud about President Trump's agenda. This is the agenda we voted for. We voted this in. How hard did we all work? We gave, we worked, we made the phone calls, we met with people, right? I mean, until we were pests sometimes, but we did it. We got it done. President Trump is in the office. He can't do this on his own. Congress is weak. We see it. They're weak. They have to be talk to. So call them, email them. There's many ways to contact your representative. Make sure that they push forward President Trump's agenda, and they're not shy about it. I've been watching the speeches today on the floor of the House, and the Democrats are all up in it, and the Republicans are like, oh, no, this is the agenda. This is what the American people want. This is going to bring in the golden age. So let's get it done. You can tell I'm really excited about this, but we have to be proud about this agenda, grateful, but also proud about it, and herald it to the American people. You have to sell. Let's sell it so that our neighbors and friends understand why things are getting better. I'm watching the labor numbers get a little soft. So we need to make sure that businesses are taking chances to hire people and to expand. They have to understand that all the good things stuffed into the big, beautiful bill are going to help their companies.
And not only so help small businesses, which is the backbone of the economy, it'll also increase all of the illegal immigration situation when it comes to finishing the wall and giving bonuses to Customs Border Protection Agency agents. Those guys need those bonuses. These are people that are protecting our homeland. And on top of that, how about the aviation overhaul that we hear from Sean Duffy, the Secretary of Transportation? There's just a number of things, including the Golden Dome for America. I mean, there's just a lot of big stuff in this bill. And we still have to balance the budget. We understand that there's cuts that are happening, $2 trillion in it. But these are a lot of the campaign promises being fulfilled through this bill.
Yes, and then we have billions more coming into the Treasury because of the tariffs. Tens of billions of dollars every week. I'm really excited about that. President Trump is doing the trade deals. I just got back from Finland where I visited an icebreaker. The United States and Finland are going to build icebreakers together. They do it cheap and they do it fast. So we'll do it in cooperation. So that's exciting that we have more capability in cold water. But Matthew, if you look at what's happening, it's a very exciting time in the world. President Trump is bringing order to the world. He's the peace president. He's bringing economic opportunity throughout the United States. He has the best cabinet I've ever seen in my lifetime. When you talk about Sean Duffy and what he's doing to make transportation safer and better, every single cabinet official is focused on their core mission. They're not preening around. They're not taking long paternity leave. They are actually focused on working for every single one of us. And so I think that this is wonderful. We need to talk about it more. We need to, be open about it and be voices for President Trump and his administration.
Exactly. The corruption has to exit stage left, and the swamp has to still be cleaned out more. And we have to win the midterms, and we have to see all these great things happen. If you remember, on J13, after President Trump was hit in the ear, he said, fight, fight, fight. And we fought, and he overcame that, thanks be to God. And then we got to that win in November of last year. And now we're 5 months, and I believe it's 20 some odd days into President Trump's second administration. I say all that to say the fight started on January 20th, 2025 as well, after those events in Butler. But it's something that we got to keep going. We can't get as, sometimes when you're winning, say it's 49-0 for a football team or 4-0 in a hockey game or whatever. Sometimes there are comebacks from the other side, and we really can't just let that happen, right?
Right. So you talked about keeping the pedal to the metal. We have to do that. And how do we do that? Well, everyone watching can run for local office, or they can become a judge of elections if you have that in your state, or you can become a precinct captain or an election observer, a watcher, or an election judge, a judge of elections. There's so many jobs out there that will help us succeed in the midterms. Many times the Democrats have filled all those slots and the Republicans largely are not filling those slots. So if I would just, one of my requests for everyone, if you have a little bit of time, is volunteer for these. And you can go online to your state election rules and you can find these jobs. Or you can reach out to your precinct or your county chair for the Republican Party or whatever party you're part of. They will have the information so that you can volunteer and you can help us succeed. If we hold the House in this upcoming election in November of 2026, if we hold the House, President Trump and his team will have 4 years to rebuild America from the disaster that was the Biden administration and what they did to weaken our great country and literally a Western democracy. We're rebuilding from scratch almost. We didn't enjoy the benefits of Trump's first term, largely because of COVID. There was not that much sort of holdover. But I've just been with many European heads of companies, heads of countries, and I will tell you that they are not looking at this the way we are. They are going down the road of net zero, punishing energy companies, trying to go deindustrializing their countries, which really lowers the quality of life for everyone. So we need to also fight against the blob that has taken over the whole world, that I think we were part of the leaders on under Barack Obama and then Joe Biden. So there's a lot going against us. We need to have great allies and partnerships, and that goes with Mexico and Canada and Europe. And so thinking about that, how we can get that in a good place, is something that President Trump's team with Secretary of State Marco Rubio is doing. And he's wearing so many hats. It's really amazing. But if you think about we're coming up on the Christmas season right after summer, right? Christmas shopping and all that. We're going to have more money in our pockets this year because of President Trump's presidency, and our economy is going to be roaring on all cylinders. So I'm excited to see what comes.
Yeah, exactly. And to your point about rebuilding what we just dealt with under Joe Biden, and then rebuilding and then soaring into the future, soaring by leaps and bounds to things that maybe we've never experienced here in this country, in the sense of the golden age of America, especially if justice is served for those that broke the law against President Trump and we the people. So there's a lot to be had here, and it's historic times, isn't it, too? It's just very historic.
It's so historic. And now as we go into the holiday weekend and we can think about President Trump going to Iowa and kicking off our 4th of July, the celebration for our country's 250th anniversary. I think Ambassador Monica Crawley is taking charge of the celebrations across the country. I hope something comes to your hometown, wherever you live. But this is how just amazing, providential is it that we were hoping President Trump would have 4 more years, but their fate intervened. And now he is going to be in charge. I get chills talking about it, of our 4th of July for the 250th anniversary of our country, for the big soccer, for the Olympics. It's almost too good to bear that this is all happening. And I hope that you enjoy the sort of the providential blessings that we're enjoying these years.
Exactly, and that's what we're looking to do here in this country. And also, one of the other things that President Trump was talking about recently was some new bills after this big, beautiful bill, talking about securing our elections. One of the 20 core promises that President Trump talked about as well. So obviously, we need the free and fair elections. We don't want to have to say things like too big to rig anymore. We just want the elections to be simply the way they need to be, fair.
It's true. And this is an issue all across the world. South Korea just had an election, and people are really screaming that their election was stolen, that the Chinese Communist Party interfered with their election and had a lot of fake ballots. So it's not uniquely American, but let's just focus on the US right now and get our elections right. And then once we do, we can be a shining example to the rest of the world, and we'll be able to share our information. The machines, they're the same story all over the world, with the problems of, the absentee ballots or the early voting, the machines. All of this is an issue, but we have to, in order to win, vote early if that's the rules. Whatever the rules are, we have to exploit up to the line legally every single allowed, I would say, advantage that we can grasp.
Exactly. And then if we just look at Poland from that runoff election where the conservative leader won there, a supporter of President Trump, and President Trump supports him as well, it was 21 million voters that turned out with the votes there, all paper ballot, all counted within 8 hours, and an election result. And I'm sure they were using voter ID. These are all things President Trump and the team wants done here in America too.
Yes, he talks about voter ID constantly and the proof of citizenship, because we know many of these illegal immigrants have now registered to vote because many states have motor voter rules. So when you register for your driver's license, they automatically register you to vote unless you opt out. And how easy is it not to just opt out?
Exactly. Carla Sands with America First Policy Institute, thanks again for joining us. Of course, former ambassador to Denmark under President Trump's first administration. Carla, thanks as always.
Great to see you, Matthew. Thanks.
You too. Thanks, Carla.